Good evening. Please take a seat. Erev Tov. We'd like to start by first acknowledging the tefillah, which was led by us this afternoon by Michelle, which was, nice pace, slow with kavanah from the heart. Every time I hear you pray, I really feel an arousal to pray in a better way as well. So chazak u'baruch for that to start off. We'll tie that back in the end. We had a great request to speak about some divrei musar, which should shake us up a little bit for the month of Elul, as we know, the month before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The first thing when I have such a request is I look at the Parashat. What's going on in this week's Parashat? So this way, we can learn something very deep from it. It's not that hard. We look at the first pasuk in this week's Torah portion. It says, Shofetim v'shoterim titen lecha b'chol she'arecha. Take for yourself judges and officers and appoint them in all of your gates. So our commentaries explain to us, the Torah is not talking about police and border patrol. We're not talking about KGB. We're not talking about the Mossad. We're not talking about FBI. These Shofetim and Shoterim were more scholarly, to say the least, less in the martial arts field. And to this, Rashi explains to us that the judges were those who made the law. They said what each case the law should be. The officers, the shoterim, were the ones who enforced it. Fine. But we got a very, very overwhelming question to address, and that is, if these judges are there to give us the law and to enforce it, why do they need to be at all of our gates? Let them just be in each city. Why bechol she'arecha, in every gate that you have? Let it just be at the city. Let it be at City Hall. Let it be at the Beit Din. Let it be in the synagogue. So listen to, I'm going to share, B'ezrat Hashem, this evening, two approaches, and we're going to tie it in together. The first is the following. When the Torah tells us to appoint, for the Jewish people to appoint judges for themselves, the Torah is telling us, you yourself, be your own judge. What does that mean, to be your own judge? That means before you enter a certain situation, certain scenario, an engagement with another individual, anything that has to be, judge what is going to be the best outcome for me, for the other, and for, in general, for peace and for prosperity and success. Judge your scenarios before you enter it. We all have experience. We all know those who've been in similar situations. Learn from them. And at the same time, be your own judge even after the experience, post the experience. I always like to say, how do you know if what you did, whatever it is, was something good or something negative? So many people come with answers, but there's one answer which encapsulates that concept and gives a very strong answer, and that is, how do you feel after you did what you did? Whatever you did. Do you feel good after? You did something good. Do you feel like it was a waste of time? So it might not be bad, but it wasn't productive, it was a waste of time. Or do you feel, wow, I really did something wrong, I hurt their feeling, I destroyed, I lost. There's different feelings, even in the positive feeling. How successful you feel you were, you could only know after the fact by looking back. That's what the Torah is telling you. Don't only judge the scenario before entering it, judge it also afterwards. Look back and say, what was good, What needs improvement for next time? How can I either maintain that level or make it even better for next time? That's what the Torah tells us. You, bechol she'arecha, you yourself. And what is the shoterim, the officers? Chachamim explain to us, that is our Yetzer HaTov. Our Yetzer, our evil inclination, is always coming and trying to throw us down, beat us, don't wake up, don't do the right thing. Temptations, addictions, it's very hard. What we have to do is to learn how to control our Yetzer Hara with the Yetzer HaTov on top of it. You can never get rid of Yetzer Hara. It's impossible. What we have to do is learn how to control the Yetzer HaTov. This is one explanation. So this is the judgment and actions point of view, one explanation. I want to give another, and this is more, maybe a little Kabbalistic. Chachamim tell us, Bechol she'arecha means all of the gates of your body. And what are the gates of one's body? There's actually 7. There are 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and the mouth. This is one's gates of the body. What stuff come in and out? These are the openings of one's body. Chachamim tell us, Shofetim v'shoterim titen bechol she'arecha. Take judges, take officers, you yourself, you appoint boundaries on your own gates. How so? When you go to a certain place and you spend time with certain people, you know out of previous experience that every time you sit around with a certain group of people, we're speaking Lashon Hara. You know it, it's happening. What does that mean to put a gate? Put a gate on your ears. Don't go there, don't listen, step out, stop the conversation. Don't speak Lashon Hara, don't speak something bad about someone else. One's eyes, we've been speaking about that over the past couple evenings. Guarding one's eyes, the importance and the holiness and all of the merits that we've been speaking about and the rewards for guarding one's eyes. Even in one's nose, there's certain mitzvot that have to do with one's nose as well. And therefore, a person has to take those 7 gates and guard them. So if we put the 2 concepts together, whether we want to understand it on the simple explanation or in the deeper explanation of judging one's own self, one's own scenarios and one's own behavior and one's actions, and then putting a safeguard for our own deeds and what comes in and what comes out of us, that's what the true meaning of putting for yourself judges and officers by all of your gates. This evening we are observing the Haskara for Eliyahu Neta ben Allegra. Zichrono livracha. How many years is it? 7 years. So it's not that long. 7 years. Chazak. 7 gates of a person's body. And I never had the opportunity and the merit of meeting your father. However, as I always say, the way you know parents and how good of a job parents have done when they're no longer, even when they are still alive, is you look at their children, you look at their grandchildren. That's the only way to quantify, right? We're here today, one day we won't be here. What's going to be left from us? Chamim tell us it's your children and your students, that's it. So when we look at the students of Eliyahu, the children of Eliyahu, we see Michelle, we see the daughters, we see the children, the grandchildren, we see everybody, and we see that he did something right. He did a lot right. He did a great job. He was able to infuse Yirat Shamayim, fear b'Kadosh Baruch Hu, the willingness to want to grow in spirituality and connection, relationship with Hashem. Again, we come back to the beautiful tefillah that you led us with. And all of the mitzvot. I'm sure the foundation is the Ilun Nishmato as well. And all of the tzedakot, mitzvot, limud Torah that the Polycarp family does, le'elu nishmat, their parents, and it's something that we all have to learn from. I don't like to speak about it too much. I know Michelle is not going to be happy, but these are people that they do a lot and they say a little. Unfortunately, we know many people are the opposite. They speak a lot and they do very little. But Baruch Hashem, these are people who do a lot, say a little. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless them, their children, grandchildren, and B'ezrat Hashem, over and over, and all of the friends and family that's here today, for having B'ezrat Hashem a Ilui Neshama for again Eliyahu Neta Ben Allegra Zecher Zichrono Livracha Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.